Hi, it's Eileen again. So today is day 9 of our writing work together, and I'm excited to put today's writing prompt on the table because I think it's an important one. Today's question asks, what is your joy? And I ask that question because, in part, I think it's really important for us to know what our inner joy is if we're going to work on reclaiming our health and beauty. But if I asked that question of my 30-year-old or my 40-year-old or my 50-year-old or even my 60-year-old self, I'm about to turn 70, if I asked that question of my younger self, I would have had a hard time answering it. I would, of course, said, my children are my joy. My husband, now of 50 years married, is my joy. Uh, I would have I would have talked about my work with young children over 35 years of work as a joy of my life, something I'm very proud of. But those wouldn't have reflected an inner joy. I think the hard part for me is that the kind of incredible joy I felt when I was very young, studying dance in East Africa, that was just an exuberant joy that was once in a lifetime, maybe. It was a wonderful experience. And my joy of my first child, my second child, my long history of being married to a wonderful husband, of course, those are joys. But I think my own inner joy, as I look back on those years, the rush of family life, the rush of going to school at night, the rush of work and more work, I think my own inner joy kind of got pushed to the back burner. And it was hard for me to hold on to the things that were special to me alone. Um, it's it was a long period of putting other people's health and wellness as priorities in my life. And I think as women of color, we often do that. We put other people's wellness and health before ours because we were raised that way. We saw our mothers do that for us. We saw our grandmothers do it for their families. Um, but I guess there's a part of me that wants to interrupt that cycle of putting the health and wellness of others before ours. And I think finding your own joy is an important part of that work. If we can't find and name our own inner joy, then we'll have a hard time reclaiming our health and beauty when we come to really working more deeply on it, as I hope we can do in July with the new webinar series that I'm going to start. I think my Buddhist friends would say their joy is being in the moment, being present to life. My friends who are deeply spiritual would say that connection to joy comes from their connection to their higher being. Some friends would say that inner joy comes from their creative work, their creative writing or drawing or painting. Um, Other friends might say their joy comes in their political work or their work in giving back to their communities. I don't know what your joy is, but if you have trouble answering that question the way I would have when I was younger, then don't be taken aback by the question. Think of it as an opportunity for you to rediscover what that joy is. The, the joy of now taking the time to redefine that and rediscover it. Um, Tomorrow is the last day of our writing challenge, and so I think it's really important to take time today to either write or think about what your joy is, so that when we come to tomorrow, we can really bring it to a good conclusion. I've so enjoyed working on these writing prompts and writing myself. It's been a joy for me to uh, do this writing and to do this small conversation with you each day. And I hope it's been a joy for you also. Thanks, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for our last day, day 10. Thanks so much.